I've made myself loud and clear that certain things that are happening are unacceptable because I was here during Amin's time. You know, I'll recount the dictum of this preacher in Germany during the Second World War. I forget his name. Anyway, God save his soul if at all he has any. He said, when they came for the socialists, I kept silent because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the gays. I kept quiet because I was not gay. Then they came for the trade unionists. I kept silent because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I kept silent because I was not a Jew. When they came for me, there was nobody left to speak on my behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, don't commit the sin of silence. And those of us who are in authority must learn to hear. In Kiswahili they say, asiolewa na wazazi, afundishwa na dunia. If you don't learn from your parents, you'll be taught by the world. Those of us in authority, if we don't know how to exercise authority judiciously and with caution and compassion, we shall be taught by the society we are leading. We lead. Well, some people want to rule. Me, I don't ascribe to that. We lead with the consent of the governed. Sometimes the governed are wrong. When the governed are wrong, it's the duty of the leaders to patiently explain to the governed where they have gone wrong. But more often than not, the governed are right. Those who are governed, when you see them crying, when you see them jumping up and down, don't suppress them. Keep them in order, but feel their pain. Mama Jua has said it properly. She said, for us, we cried. They cried because there was pain they were unable to express. Until the headmistress felt compassion for why these girls were crying and said, what is going on? And I'm sure the situation was improved. Recently, I've heard of episodes of people being, so-and-so has been arrested. Arrested, yeah, very good. 6 months, this person has not been brought to court. Oh. So-and-so has disappeared. Like now, today somebody called me from Mbarara and said a gentleman called Wangomani, Amos Wangomani. A very big cadre, well, these middle cadres who fights from 70 tooth and nail. He's been arrested. Amos Wangomani from Mbarara, just a simple businessman. He was arrested, he's disappeared for 3 weeks. His family went to court. First time he was not produced. Second time he was not produced. Yesterday they went to court. You know what the authorities told us, including Muzei Chiwachi Wanuka, vicarious liability. They said, we don't know where the man is. Oh. Wait a minute. When people of my size, height, and weight disappear without trace, that's a problem. How can a man big as I am disappear without trace? Because this fellow called me in the morning and said, if he's been killed, at least give us the body to borrow. Listen, families are now beginning to call on us to give them bodies to borrow. We who fought Idi Amin for the very reason. Excuse me. Bwana Chwanuka, you are crossing the Rubicon. Yes, and those of us who took up arms to fight against this, don't think there are others like us in our age with the enthusiasm to fight us. Have it upon your heart that if this goes on, we are going to be fought, and I'm too old, too old to change, and too tired to care. You still have 50 years to go. 50 also? Me, at the best, God willing, maybe 10 or 15. Maybe 10 or 15. I beg you, when you create all this trouble and you end up messing me up, please, I'm going to dig a grave. Just roll me in and cover. But that should not happen to us. All and sundry should learn to listen to the governed. These people, you know, the late Pecos Kutesa came to Parliament and were voting. So he also put up his hand. And then the colleagues said, but Kutesa, what are you voting for? You just come in, you're voting. Then Kutesa said, all of these who have put up their hands can't be stupid. Whatever they are voting for must have sense. If it doesn't have sense, then I'm going to be party of the majority as opposed to the minority. Now, when one cries, it's an accident, an incident. When two people cry, it's a coincidence. When three people start crying, it's enemy action. There must be a reason for us to put our ears onto the ground and reverse the cause of this. I can see the Lord Mayor clapping. But Lord Mayor, everything you said here is wrong. But you have a right to be wrong. Yes, you may be wrong, but you have a right to be wrong. And it's our duty as the ones in charge to show you are wrong and put you on the right path. And if you don't get on the right path and you clash with the law, then the law, which is supposed to be blind, will take charge of you. My job is to arrest Chiriowa Chiwanuka, take him to an official hangman. And the official hangman is there, justice intended, the God intended. And the hangman will decide whether you hang or you don't. Why should I soil my hands hanging you and taking the blame when there is a hangman paid for it? A man who is hired to hang you and he's paid for doing it. My job is to ensure that you follow the law. In my enthusiasm, I may make mistakes. I could commit errors. That's why we go to the judiciary. That's why we call all these people here land gentlemen. I have 5 of them in my house. I have 5 lawyers, my children. And unfortunately, they follow a lady who is a doctor. Now, when they are having legal arguments, my daughter comes to me and says, Daddy, I think I have here 5 psychiatric patients. I think I have here 5 potential psychiatric patients. I say, why? Say, how can you have 5 opinions and you all claim they are right? One of you has to be right, the other has to be wrong. Let's give it to the lawyers to go to court, argue their case. When we are lucky, we win. When we are lucky, we lose. And when we lose, we appeal. That's what the craft and art of government means. That's why there is this traditional separation of powers. You are the executive, you have power. But your power is not an absolute. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And there is nobody who can claim they are right when they are corrupted. morally or physically. Power corrupts. That's why we must be very judicious and compassionate in the exercise of power. Let's not have other matters like Njua. You are talking of Kasimo Buramea was in the Ministry Foreign Service. And I was in Africa Department. And Amin was very, very, very mesmerized about the African Department. Unfortunately for me, I was in charge of liberation movements. So I used to interact with Amin on a regular basis. One day, he called us to this house they used to call Cape Town Villas. And I was a junior officer for the Service Officer 6. And we are going to meet him on Saturday. You know, Amin was a very nice gentleman. Whenever we went there, he would entertain us. And he would give us booze. Now, for the service officer, with my own pay, whenever they brought beer, the directors would be talking for us. We would be at the back drinking. Ironically, we would start drinking at around 11. By 2, all of us would be speaking together with the president who was drinking juice. We would be